Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Northern Arizona Healthcare, along with the other restaurateurs, hoteliers, and volunteers who year after year sponsor the festival. We're so appreciative of your support. And joining me now, once again, is Amy Glazier with The Surrogate this time. Amy is also the director of 7,000 Miles. So welcome back. I mean, I'm going to hate to see this woman leave. I'm telling you that right now.
Thank you. Well, let me say that this experience has been so joyous. There's such a celebration of the spirit of independent filmmaking here, and boy, do we need that. So I am so grateful to Sedona International Film Festival. I really am.
And you're coming back, right?
Oh, the next film, you're the first call. And there's already one in the works, so you'll be
Awesome.
here.
Good. Yay. Well, I'm just so impressed. From the first film that we watched was 7,000 Miles, and then also The Surrogate. You have spoken so incredibly high about the cast and everybody who's involved with the films, like their family. And so that to me is very, very impressive because you don't find that often.
I think, there's a lot of unspoken secrets to what it takes to be a director. But I think at the core, besides casting, which is everything, at the core is creating an environment that is safe and joyous and inspires collaboration. Because when you trust the actors, once you cast whomever you cast, once if you trust them, and if you trust that their understanding ultimately of their characters is so organic and profound, and just give them the freedom to do their thing, to find their moments. I feel like that's where good filmmaking comes from, and I think that that joy that you have in the collaboration ends up on the screen. I really believe that, and so if I have a style or an approach, it's to create an environment that feels like a family and authentically, and that is filled with humor and laughter and collaboration.
A question that just like popped into my head is, as a director, now we're starting to see a lot of actors like merging into directing, and some act within the film, some don't. I don't really understand the difficulty of what that's like to try to do both. Explain the role that, you constantly like have to make sure that the actors are on cue or stay on track to what you're trying to communicate in the film.
Um, for me, it's about it's almost like two things. It's almost like you're a light, and when they're getting it, it's this warm light, and if they're not, it gets a little cooler. But at the end of the day, it's about whispering some of the simplest things into their ears. Reminding them of the given circumstances. Remember, somebody's in the next room, or reminding them of the relationship. Don't forget, she hates you, or giving them a sense of, like a sense of what a different kind of action choice would be, like covering. To me, what makes film so interesting is the disparity between the text and the subtext. If you mean what you say, we're doing telenovela or soap opera. In the real world, no one really means what they say. And finding the difference between what you want and why you're saying it to get what you want versus just literally meaning what you say, that's where I think the intriguing part of film comes. That's because it's about what's behind the eyes. And so I think, I began as a theater director for many, many years, professionally in the Bay Area. And I think that at the end of the day, theater is a language medium. But film is about montage, and film is much more about what isn't said. And the more especially when adapting, for example, the Surrogate from a play, the trick is to get rid of a lot of the language and to find behavior that indicates what the language would be saying. Or in a play where we had a monologue, I would turn it into a scene. So it's a craft in and of itself, the adaptation process.
Right. Interesting. So we're going to see a clip, but before we do, let's set up the stage for The Surrogate. Tell us a little synopsis of what it's about.
Well, it's about trying to have a baby, and doing it through surrogacy, and the struggle of infertility and what so many women go through. But for me, what it's really about is a friendship at its core between two people, a guy and a woman. It's not sexual. She's gay, he's married, but it's since college, and it is this deep connection between the two of them. And the final song, it's called My Friend, and it ends with the ending credit. And for me, that says it all. It's a beautiful piece by Steve Jordan and his wife. But I guess for me, it's really about friendship and extended family, which is what my life is in the Bay Area. And so for me, just as 7,000 Miles was a love letter to Hawaii and to the aloha culture, this is my love letter to the Bay Area, where I have lived for 35 years. And I will say, not one location did I have to pay for. I have so many friends in the Bay Area. They handed me the keys to the bookstore. They handed me the keys to their hospital. I mean, it was such a joyous experience to make a film in my hometown.
That's awesome. Well, let's take a look at the clip and then we'll talk some more.
Cheers.
We're pregnant.
Oh my God, that's great! Congratulations. Thank you. How far along? 32 weeks. Wait, 8 months?
Which is the other thing, we got a surrogate.
Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song.
Sarah's mother gave us money. We told her it was for the kitchen remodel. It's your mom.
Don't get it.
So, your pregnancy, you've gained a lot of weight. Honey, you really want to be careful with that.
Looks like I'm gonna be seeing you in a few weeks.
Wait, did you just say you were coming here?
She's coming here.
So how do you go about choosing a surrogate, Billy?
You wanna see her?
Surrogate's hot. I feel like I'm faking it.
Cervical irregularities are about 1 in 100 pregnancies.
What causes this?
Previous damage from miscarriage, any number of factors.
I didn't do anything.
She's a pregnant stranger. What does she do when she's alone? Scarf hot dogs and chain smoke?
I think you're overreacting.
Oh, you do. We could lose the baby.
Your mother needs your help.
We can't stay here.
When exactly were you going to tell me?
I don't know, Mom. Maybe never. For obvious reasons.
This is a nightmare.
Sarah?
It's all good, I got you.
Boundaries, Billy.
To use the womb of an underprivileged woman.
Seriously, shut up.
Legally, Crystal, with all this crazy drama that's going on, she could claim maternal rights if she wants to.
Hey, Billy, why do you have these pictures of me on your computer?
What? Oh, those.
Billy, what are those pictures?
You know, you saw those, Sarah.
No, I absolutely did not see these.
They were part of our research phase.
I kissed your girlfriend.
Excuse me?
It just happened, and I feel like this is the best time to tell you.
I knew you wouldn't tell her.
You knew?
I'm just here to do this job. I'm not anything else for any of you.
Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me.
That was beautiful.
That film is my heart. And the cast, Tate Moore, who plays the young surrogate, Erin Daniels, Catherine Smith McGlynn, Louis Osawa, and of course Wendy Malick. They are like family, and the collaboration was so happy.
It was really a wonderful film. It brought up lots of issues. We had talked about that the other night. I know we were talking about surrogacy. You know, there's always that underlying like fear. I mean, I've never been through it, but you know, just like he said, the surrogate has rights in some respects too. And you know, just I don't want to give away the film either, but there were like moments where you thought, oh, like, is she gonna take off?
Right, right.
Like,
And I do think that we, it sounds so neat and tidy, but the reality is, who is this person that is risking their body and their health to give a baby to another person? And if they're doing it, if it becomes an act of commodification, if they're doing it to make money because they need money,
Right.
what does this say about our society? We forget that there is a human being involved. And as someone who went through incredible infertility struggles to get my one blessed son, Liam Connolly, I understood what it took. And this is another reason I wanted to tell this story. And I think one of the funniest things is, oh, and did I say Jennifer Mudge, who plays me? And the funny thing is, she's such a brilliant actress and a very close friend. She was in my first feature film, Drifting Elegant, and I remember giving her all these notes about how I was when I was on these hormones and trying to get pregnant. And
so you were like that?
oh, I was totally. And then when we started to screen it for people, they were all going, "I don't like this character," and I kept saying, "But that's me. You don't like me?"
Oh my God.
And it was so complicated to make myself the least likable person. But I think at the end, you understand
Yes.
what she's been through. But she is such a gorgeous actress, and it was so wonderful to have someone who is willing to not play the attractive character, who is willing, and same thing with Wendy Malick. She's so willing to be anything you ask her to be. You know, so.
I know, she was great. She looked beautiful in this film too. I just loved the whole character, how everybody got along. The other thing too, and like we were just kind of talking about this earlier today here in the media room, you know, we love the film, The Surrogate, and then we also, like, as far as diversity, like you had so much diversity in your characters. Is that like a conscious decision, or is that just a decision just happens to formulate when you put this together?
Well, I picked the best actors I could find, and they come in different sizes and shapes and colors. But also, I wanted to tell my Bay Area story, and my story looks like this. My friends look like that. And I don't think you need to point to it or say, oh, her husband is half Chinese and half Japanese, as Louis Osawa, a brilliant actor, is. It's just who her husband is. And I also am most proud, again, like 7,000 Miles, of the reframe stamp. I don't know if you saw it in the beginning. It's a little stamp, and it means that 50%, and with this film, it was well more than 50% of the actors in front of the camera and the people behind the camera, you know, all the tech people, are either women or people there.
It's beautiful. I want to ask too, because you're at a filmmakers film festival and lots of people are here. I think you talked about this yesterday a little bit too, on some things that you suggest for young filmmakers to do. Being part of this space that you would give the filmmakers about putting together their films or looking for a distribution.
You know, have been really supportive, and they're a small distribution company, but they've really been very proactive. And sometimes you're better off finding, you know, the smaller, Maria and Callis, the smaller distribution companies who love your film and are willing to, you know, really push it. And it's my bit of advice is, be sure that you're passionate about the story you're telling. Be sure that you have your own personal, not passionate about it. If you don't love it, you know, I can't even imagine what it's like to just, you know, do a gig for, money, because this goes, it's so many hours, especially if you're the director and the producer, and, you know, it's so many hours. And Lynn Webb, my producer on this, was amazing as well. So it takes passion. You have to believe in the story you're telling. So at the end of the day, passion, passion, passion.
And you have that. So, Amy, how can people find out about your film?
So Amazon Prime, a lot of streaming services. The problem is, at first we had named it Beautiful Dreamer because there are 1,000 films called The Surrogate, and most of them are horror films. So if you put in Amy Glazer's The Surrogate,
It'll
or
come up.
Leo Mark Films, The Surrogate. But Amazon Prime is definitely the easiest way to watch it. And and I hope they do watch it, because I have to say, I love this film. It's so close to my heart. And when I watched it for the first time, because we had come out during the pandemic, so the only place we screened was in a drive-in movie theater. So to see it with a live audience of about 250 people the afternoon, was so moving, because I got all the jokes that landed. I mean, because you don't know. You're
Right.
alone in your bedroom with your, or with your editor. Rick LeCompte edited this film, a brilliant editor who lives nearby, and we would sit together for hours on end. And so to hear it with an actual audience was just life-changing. It was really wonderful.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing your team. Thank you for bringing everybody here. And then your partner that was sitting right next to you, Ray, you need to bring him back again.
They all left yesterday, and it was so sad. At one point, Maxwell Caulfield said, "Oh, you'll be so relieved when we're all gone." And I was like, "No, I miss them. They're my family." So it has been so wonderful. And again, thank you and Patrick for hosting the most joyous festival I have ever been privileged to experience.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, it's all on Patrick, so it's all on him.
He's amazing.
He is amazing. We're very, very lucky. So, Amy, I'm going to hate seeing you go. We're going to keep in touch, because
Yes.
I adore you, and thank you again for being here at this film festival.
Thank you.
And we will be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival, with more interviews and more fun.